Here's a full, continuous, American-style voiceover script based on what we wrote in Vietnamese, keeping the same depth and therapy plus real talk vibe, but tuned for a US audience and natural spoken English. In the last 24 hours, you've exposed who you really are, and you probably didn't notice. It was the moment you had 10 free seconds and instantly grabbed your phone. The moment slow Wi-Fi made you feel unreasonably furious. The moment you typed, "I'm fine," while your chest felt like a brick. It wasn't a personality test. It wasn't some deep quote on Instagram. Those tiny throwaway moments are your real psychological resume. And if I told you that just by watching a few of your everyday habits, I could guess what you're most afraid of, what kind of people you're addicted to, and the future you're quietly dragging yourself toward, would you be willing to look at yourself for the next 15 minutes? This is not 14 psychological facts that will shock you. This is a mirror. I'm going to walk you through 5 layers of your life: your habits, your emotions, your fears, your relationships, and your everyday choices. You can click away anytime, but if you stay until the end, there's a good chance you'll never say, "I don't know who I am," in the same lazy way again. So let's start with the most dangerous part: what you do when no one is watching. First, think about the last time you were completely free for a moment. No notifications, no deadlines, nobody asking for anything. What did you do? If your real answer is, "Honestly, I just grabbed my phone like always," that's not a small thing. Most people think that's just killing time. I see it differently. It's how your brain runs away from being alone with itself. There are 2 kinds of silence: external silence, when the room is quiet, and internal silence, when your mind actually calms down. A lot of people can handle the first one. They can sit alone in their room, but they cannot handle the second one, so they cram in music, videos, drama, anything to avoid hearing what their own thoughts are trying to say. Here's the bad news. If your brain cannot stand 30 seconds of stillness without stimulation, the problem is rarely boredom. The problem is what you're afraid will come up if you stop distracting yourself. Now look at something that seems harmless but says a lot: how you react to tiny inconveniences. Traffic, laggy Wi-Fi, someone walking too slowly in front of you at the store. People who are overloaded on the inside explode on the smallest things outside. That isn't just you having a temper. That's your nervous system saying, "I've been carrying too much for too long, and this was the last straw." If you find yourself cussing out your phone, snapping at strangers, or getting irrationally angry at things that don't really matter, that's usually a sign your stress levels are way higher than you're admitting. Now look at your environment. A messy room doesn't automatically mean you're lazy. I've met so many people with incredibly fast, creative minds. Their thoughts move much faster than their routines. Their room isn't chaos because they don't care. It's chaos because nobody ever taught them how to build systems that can keep up with how quickly their brain runs. On the flip side, people who need everything perfectly clean and lined up aren't doing it because they love aesthetics. They're doing it because inner chaos makes their nervous system panic, and controlling every inch outside is their way of not falling apart inside. Neither one is automatically good or bad. Both are signals. Right now, if you don't want this video to be just background advice, here's a quick challenge. In your head, pick 3 words to describe how you use your phone when you're bored, how you react to small annoyances, and what your space looks like most of the time. Those 3 tiny snapshots are the first doors into your own psychological map. Now we go deeper: the emotions you can't stand. Not the emotions you post about online. I'm talking about the feelings that the second they show up, you shut them down. You turn the music up, you overwork, you make a joke, you disappear. Some people cannot tolerate feeling embarrassed. One little mistake and they're replaying it for a week. Any comment that even hints at "you messed up" makes them want to hide. That's usually not random. That's what happens when you grow up in an environment where mistakes weren't safe. Maybe you were mocked, shamed, or compared every time you slipped. So now embarrassment isn't just uncomfortable, it feels dangerous. Some people cannot stand feeling sad. The minute sadness shows up, they force themselves to toughen up, stay busy, be the strong one. A lot of those people were trained, directly or indirectly, that their job was to keep it together for everyone else. Their pain was too much, dramatic, or a burden. So they learned to lock it away. Others are terrified of anger, their own or other people's. If every childhood memory of anger involved slammed doors, things being thrown, threats, or silent treatment, of course your brain learned anger breaks everything. So now, instead of using anger as information, you treat it like a bomb. Here's what I want you to really get. The emotion you refuse to feel is usually the voice of an earlier version of you that got shut down when it needed help the most. Next, think about the last time someone complimented you. What did you do? Did you brush it off with a "it was nothing," change the subject, or make a joke? That's not always being humble. A lot of the time, that's a brain that has no idea what to do with being seen in a positive light. If you grew up getting way more criticism than praise, your nervous system does not trust compliments. It's waiting for the "but" that usually comes after. On the other hand, if a simple, genuine compliment almost makes you tear up, there's a good chance you've spent most of your life feeling underappreciated or invisible. Then there are your triggers. One small comment and you either snap or shut down. Why are you so sensitive? Other people have it worse. Is that all you did? On the surface, it looks like you're overreacting to something tiny, but most of the time it's not about this moment, it's about what it represents. Being dismissed right now touches every childhood moment your voice didn't matter. Being ignored right now hits the same nerve as every time you felt forgotten. Being judged right now echoes all the times you were criticized instead of understood. Your triggers are not random flaws in your personality. They are highlighters on the exact places you still need healing. If you're willing, pause this video for 10 seconds after I say this. Think about the last time a small comment got under your skin. Instead of asking, "Why did they say that?" ask, "Where have I felt this exact feeling before?" That question is the starting point for understanding who you are emotionally, not through zodiac signs or online quizzes, but through your actual history. Now let's talk about fear, the part most people hide, but the part that reveals the most. Most of us are embarrassed by what we're afraid of failing, afraid of rejection, afraid of public speaking, afraid of intimacy, afraid of being misunderstood. We treat our fears like proof something is wrong with us. I don't see it that way. Your fears are a map of what you care about most. The stronger your fear of failure, the more you probably value growth, competence, and doing things well. That's not a weakness. That's a standard you hold yourself to. The more scared you are of rejection, the more connection probably matters to you. You're not clingy by nature. You just haven't learned how to pursue real connection without abandoning yourself. The more you fear being misunderstood, the more authenticity and clear communication are important to you. Some people can live being misread all the time. You can't, because truth is part of your identity. Fear also reveals your boundaries. If you're terrified of confrontation, you probably were trained to keep the peace at any cost. Maybe conflict was always explosive, or you were punished for speaking up. If you're scared of being controlled, there's a good chance someone once made your choices for you. Your clothes, your career, your friends, even your feelings. Here's my honest take. Most fears are not permanent character defects. They're skills you haven't had a safe space to practice yet. Afraid of speaking in front of people? You probably have real potential to influence, teach, or lead. You just haven't had guidance and reps. Afraid of intimacy? You probably have the capacity for very deep connection. You've just learned that being seen is dangerous. Afraid of failure? You probably have the potential to master difficult things, but right now, you're standing on the sidelines so you never have to feel not good enough. You absolutely have the right to keep running from these fears. Society will even praise you for staying safe and realistic. But the cost is this. You don't just avoid discomfort, you also avoid becoming the version of you that those fears are pointing toward. Today, don't try to cure all your fears. That's impossible and honestly unnecessary. Just pick one fear and experiment with not letting it have 100% control over your next decision. Not forever, just once. That's the moment you start shifting from being driven by fear to using fear as a compass. Nothing exposes your real personality faster than the way you love and what you expect in return. Start with how you give. If you're always the one giving more, understanding more, fixing more, holding everything together, people might call you so kind or